Greetings everyone, my name is Zetterville, and welcome back to my Let's Play of Mega Man Maker. During the last part, I covered 5 viewer submitted levels, so in this part, I'll be covering at least 4 or 5 more viewer submitted levels, starting out with this one, Sky Fortress by MAGMAX, 22 plays and a score of -1. As always, if you want one of your levels to be featured in a part like this one, please leave the level name and level ID in the comment section below or direct message me on Twitter. Also, as always, the full disclaimer of this entire LP series is linked in the description below. Also in the description are the timestamps for all the levels I cover in these parts. So if you want to check if your level was covered in the latest part, check the description. Okay, Charge Kick NATO Magnet Missile. I wonder why this level got a score of -1. Usually it's due to difficult design or problematic design. Suddenly we have a wall of enemies. Okay then, NATO time. Okay, so it's gonna be a NATO jumping stage, it seems. Nothing too problematic with that so far. And we take the upper route, which has nothing. Okay, so that was a quick introduction. Oh. How do I do this? Oh, don't tell me. I see. I think I know what to do. Give me a moment. But the question is, will I be able to do it? I need to quickly keep activating and deactivating the NATO in order to cross there. Oh boy. I need to get the hang of doing a quick weapon switch over here. It's gonna take a short while. I mistimed it. This is one of those challenges where it takes a while to get the hang of it before you can do it. Now I can see why the stage got a -1. And the timing is really tight as well. I'd have liked there to be more lead-ups or introduction to this challenge so it isn't so much of a brick wall. I see what to do there, but getting there is the problem. Damage boosting. Well, I made it. After chaining the start button multiple times. No wonder the stage got such a low score. There should have been a better lead up to this segment. Also, why did it not hit over there? Hitbox issues. And there should have been a checkpoint right over there, so I think I made my point quite clear of why the stage got a low score. And honestly, there should have been a better difficulty curve over there. I understand how they first showcased how to use the NATO, but there should be a intermediary segment which indicates how you should do forced quick weapon switching in order to get across. At the very least, make a shorter segment to better introduce players instead of just introducing them to a brick wall here. Make the challenge a bit easier with a higher ceiling of spikes or something. Alright, here's the level in the level editor. Let's take a look at its structure. Like I said, there should have been a better introduction there, and there should have been a checkpoint right over here so that I don't need to repeat the segment. And I ended up dying here because the hitboxes didn't register correctly, or somehow the spikes took priority even though I was overlapping these enemies. Yeah, there should be a checkpoint right over here, especially with this long segment of spikes. And in some ways this is easier than the first segment because we have all these enemies to damage boost off of. There should be at least 2 or 3 checkpoints in between this one and the previous one. And the stage becomes a bit easier until this point. Yeah, now we have these checkpoints here. There should have been one more, or 2 or 3 of them earlier between that and the previous one. And now we have these tougher challenges, so I understand the challenge progression. Now we have charge kick jumping here. See, over here we better introduce the charge kick sliding because it starts out easier, then becomes gradually more and more difficult to do with the tighter spaces. Then we get a checkpoint over here, then we do the air jumping here, and so on and so forth. So with this segment alone, this stage is definitely designed for the much more skilled Mega Man players. That's why I got a score of -1. And honestly, I can't blame players for being frustrated with this type of stage. This is one of the really precision-based challenge levels. I would not recommend this stage unless you really like precision-based challenge levels. Second on the lineup is Mega Man 10 Wily Stage 3 with Slide by Red 1 Fouad, 24 plays and a score of 7. As a bit of background details, in Mega Man 9 and Mega Man 10, Mega Man cannot slide, only Proto Man can. So this is effectively going to be a recreation of that stage, I suppose, but with the ability to slide, so like Proto Man mode. However, this level creator also had one extra request. They actually sent me an NSF file replacement to replace the musical track that would usually play in this stage. And I quite like it. Honestly, I would like it if more level creators send me NSF file replacements. After all, I won't mind it. In fact, this was the first level creator to send me an NSF file replacement. It adds more variety to the stage and personalizes them more. In fact, it gives them an edge in terms of the music categories as well. Oh, I remember this segment. This was the elevator segment. It's been quite a while since I last seen a Let's Play of Mega Man 10, so my memory will have to be gauged a bit. Oh yeah, this is how we're gonna do it, I see. Well, this works, I guess. Very slowly. Oh. Of course, there's actually footholders. I thought I had to do this segment using just item 1, but in fact, it was just the footholders refusing to spawn correctly. And this segment is definitely easier when you have access to the slide. When you don't have access to the slide, this is a lot more scary. Because you have to slowly walk left and right. Well, I somehow got it in my first attempt. Then again, it was more difficult in Mega Man 10 where you didn't have access to the slide. Unless you played as Proto Man, of course. And also because this is a fortress level, we have a whole slew of special weapons. Some redundant ones like Item 1 and the Magnet Beam. Well, somewhat redundant, but they're still pretty useful. No charge shots, of course. Only Proto Man has them. Down we go. Nothing too difficult, but now we have a water segment like this one. This damage boosting for fun and profit. And this segment would be a lot more challenging without slide either, especially for that one platform there. Alternatively, I could just keep one of the shrinks alive in order to damage boost off of it. Damage boosting, one of the key cornerstones of Mega Man Classic gameplay I utilize, just to make the stages a lot easier. What's down there? Oh, that of course. I forgot there was nothing down there. Though I could technically grab it off screen though. I'm trying to jump off of there, but for some reason it's not registering properly. And yet I failed this jump again. Seriously, sometimes this engine. Let's try doing this challenge for the 5th time now. And this time I'll just resort to using Rush Jet. This shouldn't be this difficult. Also, too bad we don't have the Mega Man 10 tile sets, enemies, etc. It'd make the stage look a bit better or feel a bit better. At the very least, we have this nice musical track. And honestly, I like it better than the original musical track that's provided in this engine. So, for the rest of this part, I'll keep this musical track replacement, and I'll only replace it at the beginning of the next part. So once again, I thank you, Fouad, or Red1, for giving me this NSF file replacement. It's quite awesome. And now we have the second version of this challenge, which of course hasn't spawned in correctly because global timers. If only this followed the local timer. It'd be fun to do this challenge just using item 1, but of course, I'll just wait. And now we have to do on all 4 of them at once. I don't remember where the last checkpoint was, but hopefully it's close enough. Phew, that was a little bit tight over there. I know it was possible in Mega Man 10 to just walk to the right, but oh boy, that was precise. I guess this was changed up a little bit, because I don't know how it'd be possible otherwise. Oh shoot. I bonked my head against the ceiling and I thought it was closer. I didn't want to take any chances there, so that's why I just used Rush Jet. Better not repeat that segment. And by taking this route, we unlock a key, and we unlock a door here. This wasn't present in Mega Man 10, so I wonder where it leads to. A free M-Tank. At the very least, there is the boss door over there. And repeating that water segment isn't that bad in retrospect. And normally here would fight the Block Devil, but instead we fight Crashman, who isn't weak against the air shooter. What's your weakness then? Hyper Bomb? No? What did I try? Okay, it's Dive Missile. Well, that's a lot easier to hit. So that was the end of Mega Man 10 Stage 3 with Slide. It was a faithful recreation of the original Wily Stage 3 from what I can recall, although it's been quite a while since I last saw a Let's Play of it, so thumbs up I guess. Third on the lineup is a Mini Megaman World by Fantomp, 23 plays and a score of 6. So let's see how this level is in comparison to the previous level that I covered in the previous part. I guess this is going to be a small Metroidvania level. And we have 5 keys, so I guess so. Oh. And we immediately have splitting pathways. And this isn't dead either. So this is going to be kind of like an exploration-based stage where we need to explore 5 different segments in order to complete the stage properly, and of course it is. That was close. So I guess we're going to be unlocking 5 more special weapons, 1 corresponding to each key. Oh, and there it is, good. That's where the checkpoint is. And I guess going down there is instant death. Let's go straight towards the right and see where it leads to. The lower right this time. Thank you for the next checkpoint. In fact, I'll utilize it right now because I want to reset the earlier one. Let's go down here and see where it leads to. Sure, let's quickly jump and fall down everywhere. There's probably a bed of spikes. No, there's no bed of spikes actually. It's just instant death. Quickly get over here. Get the key, get out of here. I was worried about getting telefragged by all those Yoku blocks there. A bit of enemy spam, but at least I have the silver tomahawk to make things a bit easier. Lots of explosions. I guess I entered the enemy spam quadrant of the stage. Oh, and we get the Gemini laser too. That's neat. Time to backtrack. Too bad there's no teleporter. At the very least, I actually have stuff like the Gemini laser, which makes minced meat out of most enemies. So it isn't too bad. This stage really reminds me of Metroidvania, but nothing's really blocking me in terms of utilities, only the keys. So let's get backtrack over here. Hit this checkpoint, and reset. I'm always resetting here in case I need to reset it and hit one of the checkpoints again, so I can save my keys and new weapons I get. Let's take the upper right route and see where it leads to. I already went through the water segment, the enemy spam segment, and the underground segment. Now this is the sky segment with all the crash lifts and flying shells. Oh, that was scary, I almost died there. But somehow I clipped through the ground. Okay then, there's only one left. I also like how each weapon sort of corresponds to the area near it. Or at least it feels like it. Thank you for the checkpoint. I'll utilize it immediately. I probably should be saving all these special weapons in case I need them for the future segment after the key door is unlocked. Now we have Snake City. And of course we have Surf Snake placed right over here. Makes sense. And now we can easily deal with the petite snakies because they never fire backwards. Reactivate the checkpoint. And let's go to the left and complete the stage. That was a neat way of exploring 5 different mini areas. I would like to see this expanded into a full Metroidvania or something. And it's time to fight Time Man. He has no weakness whatsoever. Actually, I think his weakness is the Mega Buster. He seems to be taking double damage. So that's the end of a Mini Megaman World. A mini exploration stage with 5 different areas. So great work, Fantomp. I like this stage a lot more than your previous level. It feels like your concept was explored this time, so for that I'll give it a thumbs up. It's on par, and I would like to see it expanded with more different areas. It was a charming little level. Fourth on the lineup is Fanmade VoltMan Stage by VoltMan, 23 plays and a score of 2. The last stage I played by VoltMan was the Photon Man Stage Redux Remix. Okay, Mega Man 2 Physics, Thunder Beam, Rolling Cutter, Hyper Bomb. And if you're wondering, VoltMan was one of the unused World Master designs that could have been in Mega Man 1. Oh. Rats, I understand now. I could have made the jump if I was more careful. And we don't have sliding because it wasn't present in Mega Man 1. And I failed it again. That low ceiling. And I hit the jump button there, but it didn't register. So let's go to the right side of the stage and ignore that portion. I guess it's there just for some more extra goodies or something. And we're being immediately introduced to these types of enemies. This is making this stage feel like it's more of a secret or extra stage in comparison to Mega Man 1's levels. Okay, got it this time. Somehow I dodged that. And of course, it's just for an E-Tank. Sadly, there's no checkpoint, but it isn't too bad. After all, E-Tanks are maintained upon death. So now let's go through the stage normal way. In fact, I think Thunder Beam is a good option. And I'm dead. At least the Thunder Beam pierces right through the enemies before they fire. So I should be utilizing that to my advantage. That was a close one there. I just realized something as well. All of the enemies in this stage are only from Mega Man 1, although we didn't really have the weapon blocks until this engine. So that adds to the authenticity of the stage, and all of the weapons we have are from Mega Man 1 as well, so more authenticity. And we also get access to the Time Slow, which wasn't actually part of Mega Man 1, but was part of Mega Man 1 powered up, so I guess it's close enough. Wait a minute, did I miss something? Oh, that was an optional segment all along. I thought that was the mandatory part of the stage. Silly me. And the Prop Tops or Flyboys were not present in Mega Man 1, they were in Mega Man 2. Still, thank you for giving a segment for more skilled players, in case they want to unlock secrets, and they are well rewarded, because it makes this segment a lot easier too, because enemies spawn in much slower. So for more skilled players, the other segments in the future are made easier. Though they had to go through a more difficult gauntlet in order to get in the first place. Although if this was an accurate Mega Man 1 level, we would have an enemy gauntlet, a small one, in the boss corridor. And of course, if this was the original Mega Man 1, Cutman's weakness would be the Mega Buster, and he would never be able to fire back at me. Thank you for the E-Tank. Well, apparently the Elect Beam was Cutman's weakness. I thought it was the Rolling Cutter, but it was actually the Elect Beam. Well, this was a nice little level. It feels like a neat way of making a Bondman stage, but it doesn't feel like it has any unique gimmicks other than the Count Bomb jumps. Still, I like how this stage had a difficulty curve, and I liked how more skilled players were rewarded with a free E-Tank, as well as accessing the Time Slow, which makes the final gauntlet a lot easier. Fifth and final level of this part is Mega Metroidvania by Yahav135, 25 plays and a score of 5. From what I've heard, this is a shorter Metroidvania level, and it doesn't seem to have a boss fight necessarily. Okay, Mega Buster, Plant Barrier, and Rush Coil, and because of the gaps in the weapon select screen, and the fact it's called a Metroidvania level, I'm going to be unlocking several special weapons. Well, because I have the Rush Coil, let's jump over it. This kinda reminds me of the setup from Metroid 1, where you get the Morph Ball. Also, thank you for forcing us to utilize the Crash Bomb to know how to utilize it. Let's go to the right. Bunch of enemies, which I'll slide past. Ah, we actually have to get the crash bomb, so we're forced to go to the left first. This is introducing us to the fact that we may need to progress left in order to get the items to progress to the right, and vice versa. I couldn't jump up there, so I decided to go to the left, and of course, there's the star crash. Also a nice place to use our newly acquired crash bomb. A little bit of a jerkish place, the shield attacker though. Time to jump upwards. First let's deactivate that beak. Gotta be a little bit careful here with my jumping so I don't deactivate the star crash by accident. Kind of a tight jump over there. Didn't take that many attempts though. What's on the right? It looks suspicious. A free tank. It doesn't feel that much like a Metroidvania now because we are, other than unlocking those blocks, we aren't really using our traversal abilities outside of the Star Crash area actually. Let's see how far it expands though. I may be wrong. Oh, this type of room. Trying to squeeze in can be a slight problem. Something goes on the left, but I want to go to the right first. I'm suspicious the level may pull a trick in the reverse, and there may be an optional secret. Green force beams, Yoku block segment. Oh, tricky. They timed it differently. So if you're not careful, you'll fall in there. Ah, and we get an optional skull barrier. I guess it'll be helpful for a future segment of this stage. Let me backtrack a bit and just jump down immediately. You can get back past this segment without taking damage, but you gotta be a bit careful with your timing. Though the placement of this enemy kinda breaks the scrolling. Hopefully I can reach another checkpoint because I'm really low on health. I'm not sure why there's a sliding segment up over there. Thank you for the large life energy. Okay, Yoku block segment. I'm not sure why we have those protective barriers at the bottom. It's not necessary at all. Poor lone shield attacker. Or rather, Sniper Joe. Let's go up. Wait, there's an unlockable there, so let's go down instead. Oh, never mind, that was an optional route. Let's go to the left and see what's here. Okay, a free M-Tank. I'll gladly take that. And because it's an M-Tank, I'll just restart at the checkpoint. It's faster. Oh. I see. If I didn't have oh, whoops. I need something like the toss spin in order to get to that segment, so I need to backtrack. Well, backtracking is part of Metroidvania levels, so it isn't too bad. After all, I have super jumping using the Star Crash. And I get a free tank. I don't know what this says. 30? Now, by using the toss spin, I can jump down with impunity. Though I wish I got it before I hit the checkpoint. So what I need to do here is basically bounce off of these enemies. Or just damage boost, that works too. I realize I could have done this segment alone just using the Star Crash. I feel a bit foolish. Thank you for the checkpoint over there. This is one of the most linear Metroidvania levels I've played so far. Outside of some minor backtracking, we aren't really revisiting the earliest areas of the stage. We're just progressing onwards. Oh, and there's the end of the stage. I'm curious though. I knew the game maker would pull a trick off like that. Although it isn't that bad because there's a checkpoint nearby. Okay, so that's the end of Mega Metroidvania. Although, honestly, I'd call it Mini Metroidvania and it's barely a Metroidvania level outside of a few segments. We never really revisited the earlier areas outside of maybe once or twice. Whereas I would say a more full-blown Metroidvania would force you to revisit earlier areas with new abilities. I mean, even the exploration stage made by Fantomp, a Mini Megaman World, that fulfilled the Metroidvania gimmicks a lot better, and that wasn't even a Metroidvania stage, per se. So I honestly cannot give this a thumbs up, my apologies. So overall, out of the 5 levels I played in this part, my favorite levels would be a tie between a Mini Megaman World and Mega Man 10 Stage 3 with Slide. So in the next part, I'll either cover several levels I find on the Mega Man Maker official Discord server, or several more viewer submitted levels. Well then, thanks for watching and have a nice day. Toodles!